Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing this morning? I am your planetary defense commander, Star-Lord Nuthor 7, the T. And these might be my last few days as your planetary defense commander, because rent is due in 5 minutes and I am $270 short. So my fundraiser's been extended another 24 hours. So please, if you would like me to continue working this job, make a contribution to my PayPal link, which will be located in the information box and in the comments. And we are going to look at the weather now. And so, the biggest concern I have right now is I think we're going to see some type of volcanic activity or earthquake activity in the Caribbean. And this system right here, which is still like a week away. But if that thing continues like there, it won't be as bad. But if, as some models have shown, it dips down, it's going to be major trouble for the West Coast. Now, we've got our big storm heading east, which would seem like, it's not that bad of a storm, right? The only problem is, right now, we have 213 rivers flooding. And as you can see, that giant T shape, which our storm had formed a giant T, so it is flooding across and then it is flooding down. So this storm is going to move east and then north. And so we're going to see a lot more rivers flooding, and our wet pattern continues to reload and reload and reload. All right. Now we're looking at the Caribbean. Caribbean. Pronounce it however you want to. Now, first of all, let's notice, see these stretch marks here? I've never seen anything like that before. And if you'll notice, the stretch marks kind of move up, and then it creates a little bridge here over the dry pattern we've been watching, which kind of reminded me of the scene in The Matrix where Neo's mouth, all the skin comes together. Watch right there. See, like, what is that doing? What is happening? It's almost like a giant sunspot. Speaking of that, here is the sun right now. Why are you playing, baby? Nothing's working for me today. So, like, that's pretty much the coronal hole is like that thing. So we should be getting hit with the fast solar wind speed, which is going to make the atmosphere a little extra crazy. And the sun is looking a little bit rode hard and put up wet. We had a giant filament tear off at the bottom. We had like 4 days ago, a B-class solar flare. And then some type of snap off, pop off on the backside. So our sun is getting very active. Because there's activity all over right now. And in a day, we have our partial solar eclipse, which will block out the natural process and cause a little more extra atmospheric instability. So if that's what you're looking for, then you can go ahead and get happy. Now, this is on the 5th, and if you'll notice, I mean, you just got giant wind events all over the place. There's 1, 2, 3, and then you got potentially up to 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts coming into parts of Oregon, California, as we see a wave after wave after wave pattern come to California. Unsettled weather pattern will continue throughout the weekend and into next week as a series of storms impacts Pacific Northwest. So that's 1, 2, 3, and that's from the North Pacific side. If we will go to here, we are going to look at the South Pacifics. Now, this is where the models have been all over the place with the rainfall rates. And here's the thing that has, this is the thing that has a 30% chance of development. Where do you go? Where did I put you? You have a 33% chance of development over the next 3 days, or 48 hours, I'm sorry. And then a 50% chance of development over the next 5 days. And if you look, this storm and moisture level already is about the size of 5 medium-sized states. So you're going to have one moisture system combining with multiple moisture systems over a period of time, which I think is going to cause some big problems for the West Coast. And in that same area, we just had a 4.9 earthquake in Mexico. And I was looking at the earthquake map, and then we got in Peru these two weird earthquakes that were off the Ring of Fire, which I find odd. There's our 4.9. Here's a 4.0. And still a little bubbly activity here. And then you had a, what are you? 5.6 in Indonesia. That volcano is still going off. And then over here is the Russian volcano. Dutchsinse had put out a video on pressures building. So we were watching for any type of major earthquake in the future, especially with that giant coronal hole facing us in the solar wind. Will definitely be something to watch out for. All right, so now we're looking at the Pacific again, and so here is the dry around Hawaii, and then here is the system we're watching. So you've got this system, which the models have been taken at different places. Cranky drew an X up here, but we'll have to check back with him a little later. And then you've got those multiple systems coming in up top. And like I said, that whole giant water stream, if it heads further south, it's going to be a problem. And if you look here on this, the GFS shows it's like a 36-hour period of rain that goes all the way into 33% of the United States. So that is just wild. Now we're going to watch the rain bands here. And keep an eye on, because there's some really weird and wacky shit that's going on. Watching these waves move in, like that wave gets pulled straight up into the Aleutian Islands, and then you have a direct hit on California, and it just looks, there's a lot of moisture like that. Just splits into a 2 barbell. Another thing I want to point out, so here, that potential tropical activity thingy we're watching develop, when at the beginning it shows it in this purple color, pink and purple, which means it can drop up to 20 to 24 inches of rain. Okay? So this is why I don't trust this shit. Okay, so get back to this. Sorry. How are you doing? What are you wearing? Okay, so there. See that? That's purple. 2 spots of pink and purple, pink and purple. And then, and remember, that's basically saying that little spot is that. And so it already looks bigger than they're predicting. There's a lot more moisture in that area than that thing is predicting. And look at it strafe, man. That is crazy. And so the area is already much bigger, but see how those show heavy pockets of moisture? And then the models have it kind of evaporating before it even hits the United States, which makes no sense whatsoever. Now watch how they move forward, and they go from purple to red, and red would be like 10 to 15 inches of rain. And then they turn light green, and sort of kind of evaporate. I don't see that happen. I don't see that happening at all. And then so if that storm stays together and then comes up here and then combines with that one around the 8th, which is in 4 days, it could be a really nasty situation. And then even here, you have the entire coast covered in rain. And some of these are going to hit with pretty heavy winds. And there's a whole lot of moisture backing up. It's like even there, a lot of that moisture is getting pulled up into Alaska and Canada. But if a lot of that rain heads south, then it's going to be a whole lot more rain totals for Washington, Canada. And then what is even happening there where you have the two lows like on a dumbbell? One goes up, one goes south, and then that one just kind of evaporates. And then one comes out of nowhere, I think, and then smacks California. These are crazy days indeed, my friends. Where'd you go? So yeah, even on here, it's showing up to 10 inches over a 2-week span, actually up to possibly 20 inches over a 2-week span, all the way from Canada, Washington, Oregon, and the north half of California. We're going to have to watch because the models have been changing daily. We're definitely going to have to keep an eye on this thing. Like I said, if these two systems combined, it's going to be a big problem. Here's another look as that storm we're talking about moves east. Let me go down, baby. All right. Just do this run real quick. This is a FB3 GFS. But as you can see, it's pulling a lot of the lows straight up into like Alaska. If that doesn't happen, the rain totals will be much higher. But no matter what, the West Coast is going to get wave after wave after wave after wave after wave. This ain't our first rodeo. So I recommend, everybody keep an eye out if that's your thing. This is brought to us by Tony Wells. The Greenland vortex dials in on fusion with the European parent vortex, which simultaneously gets bulldozed out of the way and pivots back to Siberia. Yeah, so whatever's going on is pretty wild and wacky, man. I still think the most interesting thing is whatever this whole little stretch mark situation. And look at all the moisture down there. Like if you look at it from this way, look how this water vapor, look how much moisture is down there. And that is just kind of pumping out. I don't know. I'm like obsessed with this spot right here. And it never, I've never seen the black spot there before in like the 3 years I've been doing this model or this radar. And, I thought it might be new. But so then these little stretch marks, that is just really bizarre. Is that almost even magma movement pushing out on the plates? And just to have that much dryness. And then what is that even fills in? I don't know. This just has me dumbfounded. Totally dumbfounded. I don't know what that is, man. That doesn't seem, and it's percolating up. And I'll say it again. Last year in January, we had a 7.6 earthquake in the Caribbean. And these are all volcanoes. All through here, dormant. Been dormant for about 100 years. And so, wow. That's just crazy. Anyway, I'll keep watching for you guys. If you do want to work a miracle for me, any dollar amount helps. Absolutely. If anybody never donated before and watched 100 videos or 1,000 videos of mine, if you want to make a decent sized contribution, that would be super fantastic. I've done everything I can over the 6 years to try and unite people, and I've absolutely totally failed. We were much farther away from uniting than we were 6 years ago. So yeah, I know they said if you work your ass off in America, you're going to make it. And all I've done for 6 years is work my ass off. And so today I get to feel like total failure. So for all my haters out there, you can revel in that. Because yeah, we're no closer to uniting. We're no closer to meeting these Earth weather challenges. And I'm only halfway close to paying rent, which was due 9 minutes ago. So, worst Thor news video ever? Sweet. Anyway, I love you guys. I do thank you, all the people out there who have said prayers for me, who have contributed, who have kept me going for this long. I appreciate you. And I will talk to you guys soon. My PayPal link will be in the information box and in the messages. Thanks.